That move felt brutal on the surface. A player hits his first career grand slam and then gets DFA'd the next day. But when you strip emotion out and look at roster construction, timelines, and value, Washington's decision makes sense. The Nationals are trying to prioritize long-term upside and give a returning top prospect every chance to regain form. Dylan Cruz is 23. The organization sees him as part of the future, and his oblique has kept him off the field long enough that once healthy, it was logical to free the 1B DH slot for him. Nathaniel Lowe, by contrast, is a 30-year-old veteran who has underperformed this season, aside from a few bright moments. Baseball is ruthless that way. Start with performance context. Lowe's 2025 slash line .216, 292, 373 signals a clear drop from his established profile as a power-first, high-contact first baseman. Even with Wednesday's grand slam and 2 late-inning walks that helped the Nationals win the game, the season-long numbers matter to front offices. Teams evaluate sustained contribution and projection more than single-game heroics. The one statistically defendable angle is Lowe's platoon value. The piece notes a 104 WRC plus versus righties, which suggests he's at least league average in split situations. That makes him a useful bench roll bat rather than a full-time guarantee. And that's the sort of player many contenders want in August when they need matchups or injury insurance. From a roster management perspective, moving Lowe clears a 40-man/26-man spot for Cruz without a protracted roster shuffle. Cruz is one of Washington's premium prospects. Even if he's struggled after coming back from injury, organizations generally give their marquee prospects extended looks to assess long-term fit. The decision signals the Nats are prioritizing future upside over short-term stability at first base. It's a bet on Cruz's potential and age curve. Even if Cruz isn't fully back to pre-injury form immediately, the team presumably values the opportunity cost of keeping Lowe, a veteran with declining production, over giving Cruz regular at-bats down the stretch. What happens to Lowe next? DFA means the Nationals have a window, typically 7 days, to trade him, place him on waivers, or release him outright. His recent Grand Slam will certainly get his name attention, and there's a realistic chance a contending club claims him or trades for him as a low-risk, moderate-reward upgrade. Teams that could find value in Lowe are those that need a right-handed bat who can start against left-leaning rotations, or those that want a low-cost platoon partner DH down the stretch. Think clubs chasing offense that also value bench power, a playoff contender with injury concerns at 1B DH, or a ball club that wants a left-handed thumper off the bench. Lowe's age and service time reduce the risk for claiming teams. He's a veteran who can step in immediately and won't require significant development time. If Lowe passes through waivers unclaimed, a few outcomes are possible. He could be outrighted to AAA. He could elect free agency, depending on service time, contractual rules, or he could negotiate a trade. His best path back to meaningful big league at-bats is either a team that views him as an immediate upgrade in a specific role, or a club willing to use him as a low-cost platoon DH in September when rosters expand contextually. For Lowe himself, the message is clear. Lean into the things that make him marketable. Emphasize his success against right-handed pitching, showcase defensive reliability at first base, even if he's primarily a bat-first player, and highlight plate discipline improvements or any adjustments in launch angle contact rate that could indicate an oncoming hot streak. A targeted scouting report and some strong simulated/AAA performances, if he's outrighted, could quickly generate trade interest. Teams always value a veteran who can be slotted into a lineup and produce power in high-leverage September and October spots. For the Nationals, the move is a firm pivot toward youth and future upside. Trading or DFAing Lowe is essentially a statement. They prefer to accelerate the Cruz timeline, see what he can offer in real at-bats, and shift minutes toward long-term assets rather than a short-term veteran holdover. That can be the right call in a rebuilding or retooling context, especially if the organization believes Cruz's talent ceiling outweighs the modest temporary benefits Lowe supplies. There's also a human element. Being DFA'd after a career night stings, and smart organizations will manage that optics problem internally while pursuing the clean roster move. For Lowe, a dignified exit and immediate outreach from potential suitors would be the best outcome. For the Nats, integrating Cruz and giving him the runway to reestablish rhythm is the clear organizational priority. Bottom line, emotionally awkward, yes. Baseball transactionally sensible, also yes. Lowe's DFA is a mix of performance realities, roster strategy, and the premium team's place on young upside. The real story over the next week will be which club claims or trades for Lowe and how quickly Cruz can seize the opportunity the Nationals just created. Nathaniel Lowe delivered one of the most memorable moments of his 7-year big league career on Wednesday, a first-inning grand slam that seemed to give the Washington Nationals everything they needed in a tight 8-7 win over the Kansas City Royals. He added 2 more times on base later in the game, including a walk in the ninth to help the Nationals cling to the lead. By any reasonable measure, it should have been a feel-good night for Lowe. Instead, it ended with a cold dose of roster reality. A day after that big performance, Lowe was designated for assignment to open a spot for 23-year-old outfielder Dylan Cruz, who returned from an oblique injury. The move underscores how ruthlessly transactional baseball can be, and why teams frequently make choices that look harsh in the short term. Lowe, 30, has had a solid major league career, providing a left-handed right field first base bat who can drive the ball and hold up against right-handed pitching. But this season has been a struggle overall. Even with the Grand Slam included, his 2025 line sits at a disappointing .216 / .292 toward .373. That production, combined with his age and the Nationals' organizational priorities, made him an obvious roster casualty when Cruz was ready to return. Cruz is one of Washington's top prospects and figures into the club's long-term plans, despite some growing pains at the big league level this year. The club's decision reflects a standard calculus. Give a high upside young player repeated reps in the majors, even if his early results are uneven, rather than continue to carry veteran depth that isn't contributing at the expected clip. What happens to Lowe next is uncertain but not hopeless. DFAing a player removes him from the 40-man roster and exposes him to waivers. Contending teams often look to the waiver wire for experienced, affordable help down the stretch. And Lowe could check a number of boxes for clubs seeking left-handed pop against righties, a serviceable bench bat, or an insurance option for their infield. He has a career track record and, this season, a respectable 104 WRC plus against right-handed pitching, which could make him attractive as a platoon piece. If Lowe clears waivers, the Nationals can outright him to the minors, trade him or release him, and allow him to pursue an opportunity elsewhere as a free agent. Any of those outcomes would be disappointing for Lowe after the high of Wednesday's game, but they would also present different paths. A claim could land him on a playoff-bound roster with meaningful playing time, while an outright assignment would keep him in an organization that knows him well. Either way, the timing, a grand slam followed by a DFA 24 hours later, is a brutal reminder that baseball decisions are driven by season-long performance, roster control, and organizational timelines. For Lowe, the grand slam will be a highlight in a career with plenty of good moments. Now he'll hope that brief flash of offensive heroics helps him find a new home that values his bat when the postseason push begins.